Hello everyone, welcome to Historically Accurate. In my last episode, we talked about how Guan Yu wiped out all the reinforcements sent by Cao Cao and made Xiangyang and Fancheng truly isolated cities. Now let's look at what happened after that. Guan Yu didn't relax after this huge victory. He repeatedly asked Liu Feng and Meng Da, who were stationed in Shangyong, to lead reinforcements to support him in the battle. He also worked with various anti-Cao forces located north of Xiangyang and Fancheng to help them rebel against Cao Cao. Cao Cao got so scared and almost relocated his imperial capital to avoid Guan Yu. He also immediately sent an envoy to contact Sun Quan, hoping that Sun Quan would take advantage of the lack of defense in Jing province and sneak attack Jing province. In the novel, story of this victory is similar to what is documented in historical records. The author, Luo Guanzhong, added a story to strengthen Guan Yu's brave image. Guan Yu was unfortunately hit by a poisoned arrow in the arm during the battle, so his son invited a famous doctor, Hua Tuo, to treat him. Hua Tuo used a knife to cut the flesh from Guan Yu's arm and scraped the poison from the bone. During this whole process, Guan Yu still played the board game of Go and chatted with others. Though this story is documented in historical records don't mention when did this happen, so Luo Guanzhong put the story in the period of Northern Expedition in his novel. At the same time, the novel focuses on another story, which significantly changed the course of Guan Yu's failure in the end. Here is the story. Guan Yu originally was always concerned that Wu Kingdom would sneak attack Jing province, so he left many backup forces to Mifang and Fushiren to guard Jiangling and Gong'an County. In order to trick Guan Yu, Sun Quan replaced Lu Meng, the commander of Wu Kingdom, with Lu Xun, who was relatively unknown at that time. After Lu Xun assumed his new office, he wrote an extremely humble letter to Guan Yu. This made Guan Yu look down upon Lu Xun and withdrew a significant portion of the backup forces in Jiangling and Gong'an County to support the front line. You may have guessed what happened next. Lu Meng secretly returned to military camp and commanded the soldiers to dress up in white and pretend to be merchants. They raided the beacons and then raided Gong'an County. Fushiren, who was guarding Gong'an County, surrendered without fighting. Furthermore, Fushiren even led the Wu army to Jiangling and tried to convince Mifang to surrender as well. Mifang, who had serviced Liu Bei for more than 20 years and was the older brother of Liu Bei's wife, as well as the angel investor when Liu Bei started recruiting for his army, surrendered to Wu immediately. The news was passed to Guan Yu's camp and seriously affected the morale of his army because many of his soldiers' families were living in Jiangling and Gong'an. As a result, all those soldiers fled. In addition, Cao Cao managed to send another army of 5,000 untrained soldiers, led by Xu Huang, to join the battle, so Guan Yu couldn't quickly occupy Xiangyang and Fancheng. Guan Yu was immediately put in a dilemma. To make matters worse, Guan Yu asked Liu Feng and Meng Da to send reinforcements from Shangyong a long time ago, but they said that Shangyong had just been occupied, so they had to guard Shangyong and refused to send troops to help. However, if we look at the map, it is not hard to see that Shangyong was in the middle of a route with one end in Hanzhong, which belonged to Liu Bei, and the other end in Xiangyang, which belonged to Cao Cao. If Liu Feng and Meng Da had sent troops to help Guan Yu occupy Xiangyang and Fancheng, troops and supplies from Shangyong could easily be transported by water, and they could soon reach the Xiangyang and Fancheng battlefield along the Han River to the east. In ancient times, water transport was always much faster than land transport, but unfortunately, as an adopted son of Liu Bei, Liu Feng didn't lead Meng Da and the troops to support Guan Yu. Guan Yu had no choice but to withdraw his troops due to the absence of support and the cut-off of supply line. Guan Yu and his troops were ambushed by Wu army halfway on their retreat to Maicheng. More than a month after his retreat to Maicheng, Guan Yu and his son, Guan Ping, were captured alive and executed by Wu army. According to description in the novel Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Guan Yu ended up losing Jing province mainly because of his carelessness. He has been scapegoated for hundreds of years. However, if we check the historical records about this battle, we will find that Guan Yu wasn't careless at all. Let me take Jiangling, which was managed by Guan Yu for years, as an example. When Jiangling was still occupied by Cao Ren many years ago, the city was sieged for a year by Zhou Yu from Wu Kingdom. With the help of Guan Yu, who led 3,000 soldiers in the north to block the continuous reinforcements from Cao Cao for Zhou Yu, Jiangling was finally abandoned by Cao Ren. At that time, Cao Ren didn't have much troops in the city, but was still able to guard it for a whole year. After Guan Yu took over Jiangling, he expanded and strengthened the city defense and equipped it with well-trained soldiers and enough food supplies. He handed over this well-equipped city to Mi Fang, who had a good relationship with Liu Bei and had a high status. Making Mi Fang as the city commander is not a bad choice at that time. If Mi Fang didn't surrender, he would definitely be able to resist the enemy attack until Guan Yu came back to help. Another person I need to talk about is Liu Feng, the commanding general guarding Shangyong. As Liu Bei's adopted son, Liu Feng got a lot of opportunities to practice and was a highly capable military general. He and his deputy commanding general, Meng Da, had at least more than 5,000 soldiers at that time. If he obeyed Guan Yu's orders and sent his important reserve team to support Guan Yu, they would still have a great chance to occupy Xiangyang and Fancheng, even though Mi Fang and Fu Shiren surrendered in the rear. And Guan Yu would not have failed the battle and been captured and executed. Liu Feng was eventually condemned to death by Liu Bei later for this reason. If Mi Fang didn't surrender and Liu Feng sent troops to support Guan Yu, the history of the late Three Kingdoms period was highly likely to be greatly rewritten. At that time, Cao Cao was just defeated by Liu Bei in Hanzhong, and 30,000 soldiers of his troops were captured outside Xiangyang and Fancheng. If Xiangyang and Fancheng were occupied by Guan Yu, Cao Cao wouldn't have well-trained troops from the huge area of Chang'an, Luoyang to Xuchang and Nanyang to fight against the coordinated attack from Liu Bei and Guan Yu. It's a pity that there's no if in history. Guan Yu's defeat directly caused Shu Han to lose half of its territory and population. Afterwards, Liu Bei sent all his troops to attack Wu Kingdom, but was defeated by Lu Xun, and Liu Bei soon died of illness. Since then, Shu Han became the weakest among the three kingdoms. In the novel, after Guan Yu was executed, his head was sent to Cao Cao by Sun Quan in order to trigger Liu Bei to take revenge on Cao Cao. Of course, Cao Cao wouldn't be tricked, and he buried Guan Yu's head with the wooden body in an elaborate funeral. Cao Cao and Lu Meng both died of illness soon after Guan Yu's death based on historical records. Perhaps Luo Guanzhong also felt sorry for Guan Yu's ending, so in this novel, Luo Guanzhong let Guan Yu's ghost frighten Cao Cao several times and possess Lu Meng's body, and finally scared both of them to death. This counts as consolation to readers who like Guan Yu. Finally, let's talk about the endings of others. Yu Jin had remained as a prisoner of Guan Yu since he surrendered, and was captured by Wu Kingdom after Guan Yu was defeated. Sun Quan eventually released Yu Jin and sent him back to Wei Kingdom. By then, Cao Cao had passed away, and his son Cao Pi ordered Yu Jin to visit Cao Cao's tomb. There, Yu Jin saw illustrations of the Battle of Fancheng, in which he was depicted surrendering to Guan Yu, while Pang De was portrayed in a ferocious and courageous manner. He was so filled with shame and anger that he fell sick and died. Mi Fang, another general who surrendered, had an older brother named Mi Zhu. Both of them were important figures who had spent all their money to help Liu Bei recruit for his army in the early days. Because Mi Fang's surrender resulted in the death of Guan Yu, Mi Zhu went to Liu Bei to plead guilty for his younger brother's crime. Liu Bei didn't blame him at all, but Mi Zhu was still so ashamed that he fell sick and died. While Mi Fang himself was looked down upon by Wu people after he went to Wu Kingdom. Liao Hua, one of Guan Yu's subordinates, became a prisoner of war of Sun Quan after Guan Yu was captured and executed. But Liao Hua faked his own death and succeeded in deceiving his captors and escaping. He brought his elderly mother with him and overcame a lot of difficulties to head to Shu Kingdom. It took Liao Hua 2 full years to finally meet Liu Bei, who was leading his army to attack Wu. Liu Bei was greatly moved and appointed Liao Hua as the administrator of Yidu Commandery. Liao Hua later became an important general in the late Shu Kingdom. Well, that's it for this episode. If you have any thoughts, please leave your comments below. See you next time!